Hi, good morning all.
Hi, Janika. Okay, let me send a few images on the group and we can begin. So today I was thinking we could do something like a chalkboard menu. Okay, since we have, we're continuing, today is probably the last, today is the last of our food illustration month. We with the other batch on Saturday, we did menu illustration, and it was quite fun, because it incorporated so many elements of recipe illustration, which is familiar to us. We've done a lot of recipes, but menu illustration has got slight tweaks that we have to make. For one, that the fact that menus require some amount of text, and text is important in a menu. It is what you want to get their attention to. Illustration, of course, sits around it to back up the text. Okay, so what I'll do today is I don't have, we can do any sort of a menu, but today I thought let's just try looking at a few reference pictures of pizzas. Okay, so I put those in there. And if you have black paper, this would be a good time to bring out your black paper with white jelly roll pens. So I have only one jelly roll pen with me here. Hopefully it works. That's a big challenge with the jelly roll pens. If you have black paper, or if you have, for that matter, even tinted paper, any sort of a gray or brown, brown like the Amazon wrapper paper, that kind of stuff, we'll have to see how effective it is. For today's experiment, it should look nice because the whole point is a chalkboard, right? So my assumption is it will turn out well. But if you don't have it, because the reverse of whatever we do on white paper applies to black paper. So it's not going to change your illustration too much. So if you don't have a black paper, that's fine. We'll do it on a white paper with black pen. Okay, it's just the inverse. What is this? Internet connection is unstable.
Susan, can you be louder, please? I don't know why it's so soft. Can you hear me?
Too soft? Okay, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Hold on. I'll put my...
No, now louder. But yes, it's a little patchy, the connection.
So I'll just switch to a flashlight folder. One is why I will leave the other one to my. Let me just get my dad's hotspot.
Hello. Menu illustration, a new illustration.
I don't think so. I have a white gel
I have white gel pens which stop working in exactly 5 days since I buy.
Let me check.
Completely useless.
So if one doesn't have, how do we go about? Hi Susan, this is Neeta. I missed your class last.
Hi. Hi. Neeta, just give me 1 minute. Network is low. I'll just connect through another network.
Regular white paper with the black, and then you just make note of it, and then you can do whenever you have the material.
Acha, black and white. That's
Ah.
okay. Acha, acha. Okay. Thank you. I'll have to buy it. I don't have it.
How long does this last, Janita?
They dry
Lasts
very fast.
because this one which I buy, this one, you know, this white one.
Yeah.
It, as soon as you use it, in another day or two, if you don't use it, it's dried up.
Dries up very fast.
I don't know what to do. It's full. It's new. Okay, so jelly roll
Yeah,
is
it's
what you need, is it?
the jelly roll pen, and they're different numbers.
So which one have you got?
I have a Sakura.
That's a brand.
Yeah. Send a pic on the group.
Okay. And the number you said that there is a number thickness.
I have a 05.
Okay.
But we'll ask Susan, she'll be able to tell better which number.
Okay. And the black paper is the chart paper. Is it the chart paper?
I have these scrapbook papers which my kids use. So brand is Target, and you get assorted colors.
Acha, okay.
So you
Okay.
can use it for any project.
What size? A4 size.
Very thick, not very thin. It's easy to fold.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I have put off my video of the camera that I'm looking at right now. Just temporarily till the connection stabilizes. But my screen with the book should be visible to everybody. Let me just spotlight it. Am I audible first of all to everybody?
Yes, you're audible. Will
Yes,
it,
yes,
if we
yes.
switch off our cameras, does it impact you in any way?
No. That
Okay.
should not be a problem. Yeah, it's just that my bandwidth is low. So what I'm going to do is simply keep one screen off. You don't need to see my face. It's okay. A little while. Yeah. Awesome. So I shared some pictures of pizzas with you, and I was thinking we could do a pizza menu simply because last time with the other batch, what I did was a Indian snack menu. So if you all want to watch the Indian snack menu that we were working on, go and watch the Saturday's recording, because then why repeat the same topic? Let's take different subjects, different food subjects, right? So check that out. And there, what we have done is we've not done chalkboard. I mean, they were all very interested in the chalkboard, but we already started with the normal illustration on a normal white sheet. So I'll show it to you. This is how we did ours. Okay. So in that one class, because we talked about the lettering and stuff like that, we were not able to finish the watercolor aspect of this illustration. We only managed to get our basic sketch up. Next time, we are going to be coloring in with watercolor. And then we will do a little bit of chalkboard with them also, because they are very keen on doing the chalkboard. Okay. So today's chalkboard business is going to be entirely optional for those who don't have blacker. There's no worry over here. Even like Elaine was saying, these jelly roll pens tend to cause a lot of trouble, especially with disuse. So I have often used the jelly roll that you showed, Janita showed, I think, which is Sakura's jelly roll, right? So I have used that several times, but I have found that this is the Uniball Signo. The Uniball Signo. This one is quite nice. It doesn't dry up as fast as the Sakura. Elaine, you're saying something?
What is the number?
This is the one
Ah,
that's dried up. I've got a Uniball Signo. It's full.
Oh, is it?
It's dry as a bone.
It's dried up? Oh,
How
wow,
do I
that's a
make it
shame.
wet
I in
again?
fact buy
I think,
there is no wetting. Actually, the
well,
funny
there's
thing
an
with jelly
open
roll is
refill. I thought maybe I can do something, blow or put water or something.
no, the ink of the jelly roll is different from the normal ink we are using for ball pens. So while the ball at the tip does rotate and let the ink flow, because the ink consistency is different from normal ballpoint pen, it dries up a little faster. And so the only solution, honestly, Elaine, is to gently work it on a dark sheet of paper till you start activating it. But again, ball pen, no, if you press and you roll on we usually put in all our strength and rub it onto a surface, right? So that will work for a ball pen, but not for the white jelly. Just give me 1 minute. Huh?
I have this Posca that is giving a good effect.
You think heating this up will help?
You try alcohol, just dipping,
Yeah.
see if it starts. Just take a
Yeah.
chance.
Because the back of the refill is open in this.
Ah.
When you take out the refill, it's
Yeah.
quite broad.
Mine
it's
also
open.
dried up. We can't help
So I
that.
think I should put some alcohol in it first and then kind of warm it up slowly. Maybe that thing will thin a little.
I don't know about alcohol, honestly. I
I'm
don't know
just-
what material.
Yes, yeah, I have no idea, but you never
You
know what to try.
Please finish it and throw it and then
No,
buy the
I'm going
next.
to throw it only because it's no finishing only.
What's the
I'll
number?
get another one.
What is the number? 0705, any idea?
07. 07.
This one is 07. This is 07. But with the Sakura ones, you get 05, 08, and 110. That's 10. Okay, and those are great fun. Why? Because especially if you're doing florals, and even for these chalkboard ones, you get two thicknesses, and the thinnest one is excellent for adding lines to line work. For example, you know, the shading, the hash, the shades that you want to add with the vertical and horizontal lines, those kind of things, a 0.5 is excellent. With this, you get only a single line, but it doesn't matter. It's still quite effective. Okay. Okay. So
I have
like
a gold that is 8.8,
Uh-huh.
which works. It's worked
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
long.
The gold, again, the gold is a different gel.
Ah, so this works. Yeah.
Sorry. The gold is a different gel, and
Is
that
the
does not
silver
dry
a
out.
different gel also?
Yes, yes. Gold and silver seem to be the same type.
So they probably will work longer than the white.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
Thank you.
Now, a Posca pen, by the way, just since someone mentioned a Posca pen, a Posca pen comes in varying thicknesses. I have bought only the one that works best for me. This is my Posca. Posca pen is acrylic paint. Okay. Acrylic paints, they come with in different tips. Now, this is quite a thick tip. I think this is a 0.9 to 1.3, quite big. So you won't get the fine detail that you're looking for. Whereas this is a clear 0.7. There is a very, very clear difference in the line work. Now, where this difference will come in is on your paper size. If your paper is A4 or even A3, your Posca is fine. Okay, your Posca tip is okay. But since we are doing things like A4, A5, and that size, your Posca is going to be ridiculously huge. Ridiculously huge. Yeah. Posca does come in a smaller size, like a
I've got
0.7.
it.
It does come.
I've got a 0.7.
You got that?
Yeah.
Yeah, 0.7. I don't know how you're finding that pen, but I find mine, it's working well. Okay, mine, no, I think I shook it so much, the paint started coming out of the tip. But in spite of it, when I use my Posca fine tip, blobs of water come out, you know, like real, like liquid. It's something inside hasn't mixed. And no matter how much I'm shaking it, it's not, it's not fixing the problem. So my experience with the Posca has been very, even more erratic and disappointing than the jelly roll. All goes to say that these are not your natural or most comfortable mediums. A chalkboard needs chalk. Nothing will happen with chalk. Okay. So in menu illustration, like I was mentioning, uh, the font of the text you are using matters because we are trying to convey. That is the key part of a menu. Unlike in a recipe illustration, we do want the information to be there, but illustration is probably given more impetus. In a menu, illustration is important, but if I can't read or it is very hard for me to read something, and that is detrimental to what we are trying to achieve with a chalkboard or a menu board. You want someone to look at it and be able to see clearly or be enticed by what is on it to be able to stop and buy or select or whatever. So keep that in mind when you are illustrating any type of menu, chalkboard or otherwise. Okay, the lettering matters. First thing to do would be to ensure that you have your list of items up front ready. Why I'm saying we need this ready is because without that in place, if we illustrate around and then decide let's put in, okay, 5 items or let's put in 10 items. Now, if we knew 10 items had to be spaced evenly and we wanted a certain type of font that's legible, after you illustrate, you can't find sometimes the space to fit all the items you want. So what we must do with a menu is definitely put the text first, unlike a recipe. In a recipe, we're fitting the text around in many cases, often in fact, We are fitting the text around in places that we find convenient. Here, we can't do that. We have to put the text first and fill in the gaps very cohesively with illustrations. So if let's say instead of having all your onions and all your ingredients showing entirely on your screen, on your chalkboard or your menu, if only a part of it is visible, there is no problem. It is not going to take away from the item that you are trying to get everyone's eye on. Okay. In terms of what goes on a menu, that depends on the topic or the kind of menu you are illustrating. If it's for a restaurant, there may be many sections in a menu. Okay. So I'm going to write down here the items that we're talking about. One is for menu illustration. We need items to be listed. And we also need to know the sections to be had. We may have a whole lot of items to be listed. Okay, maybe 10 items, 15 items, 20 items, whatever it is. But organizing them under certain sections is very, very important, because when we go to eat, we look for sections. We look for drinks in the drink section. We look for the snacks in the snack section, appetizers, appetizer section. So making sure that you have your sections clearly demarcated is also as important as having your individual items. Okay. So items to be listed, sections. And the next thing is your font. Okay. Font being used. And this will be title font or section headers. And the other will be line item font. Okay. These are the two different fonts you ought to consider. There should be two distinct fonts on your menu, minimum, if not more. If you want to have a third font, there is no harm. But if you don't have two very clear fonts, you are going to not be able to show your sections very clearly. Okay, so title and the section heads usually you can consider is a nice, clear, big font. If your items are many, you could still have a smaller font. There is no problem. People will go to the extent of reading those small things underneath, provided they have identified where to go look for the appetizers, where to go look for the soups, and then find what they want to find. Okay, but if I can't find where the soups are, I will probably not get to the line item level, right? So keep that in mind. And so plan your font upfront if you can. Now, this is where when I say plan, it is important. Why I'm saying plan is because sometimes the header font itself is so big. Okay, you might want to keep your line item font relatively small. Otherwise, your menu is going to be just lettering, which is also how many menus are, only lettering. There is no harm in that. But we want to have some illustration. So let's try to balance out the two fonts we want to use. Now, just my observation from various menus is that usually you will notice running hand or some sort of cursive or very beautiful curvy sort of font for one type. And then you will have very straightforward, almost print type of font for another item. And if I were to logically apply this concept of how do I read a menu, I would like to see print-like font for the line items. Sections can be beautifully decorated, but line items should be as legible as possible. Okay, this is not to say that this can be reversed. You can have cursive for the line items and block for the sections. That is also possible. But from a legibility standpoint, you may find it easier to read blocks in the line items. Okay, let me try one example of a header. And that is why you should try. Trying is important. Let's say we want to do something like for calligraphy. Has everybody tried for calligraphy before? No? Okay.
No.
Folk calligraphy is a very interesting concept. It is how you would try lettering, normal lettering. Let's take the word, let's take the word cheese. Okay. If I were to write this in normal cursive, nothing great, huh? This is not copper plate or anything like that. This is just continuous script. I'm just writing it slowly so that my letters look as even as possible. Okay, this looks like normal lettering. We are not doing anything fancy with it. We just wrote it slow. What you do with this normal lettering is you add the thickness of a downstroke. In copper plate calligraphy, if you observe the nib, okay, any stroke where your nib goes downwards, you will thicken that you will press down on the nib, and so the thickness of that stroke is like this. It's about this thick. But every time you write and your stroke goes upward, your pen goes upward, you have a thin stroke. That is how a flexible nib works. In folk calligraphy, you are using a nib that does not bend thick and thin. You're using a monoline tip, like this pen, where I can't get thick and thin. But I will still give the impression of thick and thin by simply adding a double line wherever my downstrokes come in. Okay, what do I mean by downstrokes? Observe carefully. In writing the letter cheese, the word cheese, I started from here and I went downward. The C is downward before I turned upward, correct? So this is called a downstroke. My pen is moving downward. So if at this downstroke, I put a double line. See? I put a double line or a thickness on my downstroke. Now, when my C connects to the H, it is going upward. So this is called an upstroke. For an upstroke, I do not add any thickness. I keep it absolutely monoline. Then after I reach the top of my H, I have to curve downwards. Now this becomes another downstroke. Am I right? So at this downstroke here, I'm going to add a double line. See? Now my downstroke is over. I go up again for the H, for the rest of the H, and then I go down again. So now again we have a downstroke. Again, I thicken this part. Again, I go up onto the E, where it is an upstroke, nothing to be done. And E will also be written like a C. So this is a downstroke. At this downstroke, again, I'm putting a thickness. And this part of the E, we do not add any thickness. It is actually not a downstroke. It's an upstroke itself. Because if you were to connect it the way we were connecting when we were writing, E would have come this way. Right? So leave it single. Let me go on to the next E. You can even write E like a normal E like this and go down. But remember the downstroke, we have to thicken. See? I go up to an S, go up and come down. So because I went down, let me thicken that also. I turn, go up and write E again. Again, a downstroke thickness. And this is called folk calligraphy. So the thickness is not anywhere and everywhere you like to put it. Or you feel that the thickness has to come here, let me put it here. No, there is a logic to the thickness. The thickness has to come on every downstroke. Practice this a few times with any letter you like. Now, if not cheese, let's take something like milk. Okay. My normal lettering, I'm going to write M. Just pay attention that you understand which is the down and which is the upstroke. So this is my lettering, normal lettering. To this, I'm going to now analyze the downstroke. So this up and down. So double line here. Up and down. So double line here. Up and down, double line here. This goes up, then this goes down. So again, we have a double line. This goes up, goes down here from this side. and then it goes up again and then down again. Now here, it is going from the left side. We have a slight thickness here and a slight thickness here. That's it. See? This is faux calligraphy. Faux calligraphy simply because false. It's false. It's not real. It's not the actual thickness of your pen. Okay. We are imitating the thickness of a nib as it goes on the downstrokes. Faux calligraphy is an excellent lettering concept in a menu. Okay. I'm going to use the same concept to use it for a title case. Let's say I want to write the word menu. And I'd like to write it in faux calligraphy. It allows me to be very fluid with my lettering. No, any mistakes in the proportion, no problem. It still looks quite quirky and nice. Yeah. See? Something like this looks great if you put it on a menu, you put it on starters, you put it on drinks, it's all fine. But for the individual line item, let's say I want to write, you know what, I need to get my spellings right. Let me just check for spellings. Do we have any choices in pizza names? Or is anyone a pizza fan that knows names of pizzas? I'm going to just go with Neapolitan. So let's try N.
You have the margarita.
Yeah, margarita. Yes, correct. NEA. Very straightforward font, almost similar to what I'm writing here, except with some amount of you just slow down.
The letters are up and down. So is there some way that we know how it goes? Like in the word menu?
Yeah, here I have, it is not straightforward, but suppose, let me show you straightforward also, because that is actually how we write. So if we were normally writing, all in same line, same height. See? This will also look good. Like I was telling Elaine last time, this is a little more bounce and this is normal lettering. Okay, bounce and normal. I'll give you a very basic thing about bounce, and that could be done here. Okay, let me show you an X line and a baseline. This is your X line. This is your baseline. For lettering 101, kind of. Is this clear? I'm not sure if it's clear.
Yes.
It's not clear. Yeah, you can see the lines. You can see my lines.
Yes.
Okay. So when you are writing normally in the in the X height, this X height, what you will do is, suppose I'm writing the word menu. I'm going to take menu only because we are actually using that word in our work today. This is how you would write the word menu. All the letter heights will match, right? For bounce lettering, what happens is these curves on top, which touch on top, and the curves which touch below. Okay, I'm showing you I'm circling the curves that touch the top and the curves which touch below. Okay, these will be allowed to bounce. That means go beyond the lines of the X and the base. Okay, how you want to bounce them and which ones you want to bounce, you can do actually quite at your, what do you call it, based on your what appeals to you. Okay, there is no set rule that you must bounce this one and not that one. There is no rule around it. But having said that, it is better not to bounce up and down at the same time. Okay, so suppose I want to now in this n, for example, if I want to bounce this n, either I should consider bouncing it higher, or I should consider keeping it at the same height, at the x height, but bounce the bottom. Okay, which means you're going to get something like this. Either high and like this down, normal height, or you're going to get the same height and low and normal height. Okay, so this is all bounce is about, right? The right curve. So let me show you how, if I bounce it with a color pen, let me, color pencil probably make it easier. See, now I take this and I bounce this higher, and I bounce the second one lower, down, and E stays as it is. I do not do anything with E. I bounce higher, the N. I want to go high, so I keep this as it is, and the U stays as it is. Can you see the bounce? So for bouncing anything, it doesn't mean that you bounce any alphabet you want. Bounce only the curves that reach the top. So for example, alphabets like I, E, you try not to bounce them because there are no curves on top, and bouncing an E will only make things terrible. See, it doesn't add to the value of the E. Going below like this doesn't add to the E. See, similarly, if I have an I and I bounce it like this, it doesn't add to the value of the I. So M's, N's, A's, U's, these are the ones that are best to bounce because they have those many loopy curves. Okay. And just bouncing one or two of those is enough to give the whole word a feel that the whole thing has bounced. Yeah. So it's like an optical illusion. So, okay, going back to what we were doing here. What was Margarita? We said Margarita. What is the spelling? Does anyone have the spelling? Otherwise, I'll have to keep checking this. M.
A-R.
Yeah.
G-A-R-I-T-A.
Okay. So this kind of lettering where you have this as your header or your title and the individual line items like this will make it very clear to read a menu. Very clear. Okay. The contrary, the opposite of this would be, let's make the menu look nice and big. No fancy lettering for the menu. Just capitals. So this is me attempting the opposite. Nice and big. Why are we attempting this? So that we know, we can see and decide whether which one we like, what we want to go with. Okay. And under this, we will have the same items, but in cursive writing or in any form of any script like this. So only when we see, we'll realize whether we want to opt for this option. See? Now imagine 10 more items of this type. So,
And what about if,
chalkboard.
you know, how they, sorry,
What about?
on the menus, they that explains Neapolitan, you know, they sometimes have.
Yes, yes.
Anyway,
yes,
later
yes,
that,
yes.
later.
No. In those cases, you can do something like this. So for example, okay, I'm going to take the same example and do something like this. Okay. And here I will do now what's
Yeah.
happening here. Okay. This is what's going to happen. Imagine that this is not there. That in between line is not there. So your menu and your first line are similar font, not identical. We still have made the menu larger, but the the descriptive elements can be running here. Because I want to see Neapolitan pizza first. The extra description is extra information, right? So this is how you would deal with something like that. Yeah, okay. So for today's exercise, do we have some options of number of menu items we want to include for our pizza menu? If we have some, so for example, Neapolitan is one, Margarita is one. Can we have a list so that we can start spacing our words around? Anybody has some options? Because I'm going to write them down here. And if you could, let's do it the way Elaine was talking about, having a little one-liner in a thing. It does not matter what it is. Okay, like with cheese and tomato, with basil and something, with whatever. Let's put some little bit of a description. Yeah, come. So give me some ideas of names. Neapolitan's one. Margarita is already cheese, right? So do you want to put something else with the Margarita?
Farmhouse is a very popular one.
Oh yeah, farmhouse. Yes. Farmhouse, very popular. Farmhouse, and can we put something with farmhouse? Farmhouse with?
Just farmhouse pizza, and then you do a byline of the ingredients. You know,
Yeah,
just
so
two
let's say,
things. Just
let me
farmhouse
write
pizza.
jalapeno and
One more thing, the
olive.
pizza, the spelling of margarita is different for the pizza and the drink. So this, what we've written is for the
Okay.
drink.
Okay.
And
What is it
the
for
other one
the?
is MARGHE.
H
Ah, yes.
This is the
R,
drink, huh?
yeah.
RITA.
RITA, Margarita. Right, you are Janita.
There's no A, okay? So you
Hmm.
remove the A before
Right,
the
right.
R. Yeah.
So GHERITA.
E-R-I-T.
Let me write that.
Correct.
Let me write that down. MARGHERITA. With basil and
Fresh
something else.
mozzarella, tomato sauce, and basil.
We'll just
Okay,
write
that's
with
good.
basil and
Tomato sauce and what was it? You said?
Mozzarella,
Cheese.
mozzarella
Mozzarella.
cheese. Yeah.
Spelling
Fresh
of
you can just
mozzarella. Okay,
write
mozzarella.
Janita, you're
cheese,
going to
no?
be
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a chef, so
Ah,
there you go. So mozzarella is M-O-Z-Z-E-A. Sorry, M-O-Z-Z-A-R-E.
MOZZARELLA.
Ah, okay, perfect. So we have two items. Neapolitan pizza with what? I don't want to say cheese and tomato. Cheese and tomato is okay with everyone?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. All right.
Yeah.
In that case, can we have two more items? Just two more. We'll have a menu with just 5 pizzas. That's
There's a
fine.
Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
with pineapple.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Hawaiian,
Awesome.
Hawaiian, according to this. IIAN
Okay.
pizza. Is that right, Janita?
Let me see.
Hawaiian.
HAWAIAN. Yeah, that's correct.
Correct, no?
And
And
tomato
what shall we add?
sauce. Tomato sauce.
Pineapple and tomato sauce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some add
Pineapple.
pineapple.
And there'll be hundreds of things. I think we'll keep it as short as possible.
Yeah.
For us.
Okay. Tomato sauce should be it. All right. Great. One last item. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shall we have one more?
We can have
Just for the
pizza.
Napoli with
What's
sun-dried
that?
tomatoes.
Now, oh God, so long we have to write.
Pesto pizza also
Let's
is
make it tandoori. Tandoori pizza,
T-O-N-I.
that's it.
Okay. Napoli.
With you can write sun-dried tomatoes and jalapeno peppers.
Okay. All right. Sun-dried tomatoes and peppers. I'll just write peppers, okay? Just so Elaine doesn't get worked up about the writing.
Napoli
Don't
is like
worry,
the
we'll get it done.
Neapolitan, right? Okay.
Is it?
No. I just asked. I'm not-
Oh, okay, okay. I am not sure myself, but not to worry. Okay. So how many of us have black paper?
I don't have.
I
I'm going to
have.
do it on a white. Yeah.
Yeah, so do it on a white. Do it on a white. Okay. Just because I have a black, I'm going to simply do it on a black. But those who don't have, please don't feel bad. Your pizzas are your menus are going to look just as fine on a white paper. Just make sure you're using a black fine liner instead of the white jelly roll that we are using. Okay, so I'm folding this down to an A4, sorry, A5. Yeah. That is my video is up. Let me see. Can you all see me?
Yes.
So what paper should we use for the white? I mean, I don't have the white ink.
Yeah, if
so-
you don't have black, this is just our regular drawing book paper.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And what I would recommend is what I did with the other class. Basically, take this long sheet, this A4 sheet, which you are currently using. I think I'm assuming you're using an A4 sheet, right?
Yes.
Like this.
Yes.
So what you can do is you can just simply take this sheet, bring it to the end here, fold it in half. Okay, this way. And do your entire menu in this one half. So we've written all our stuff on the left side and we write our menu out here. Okay. For those who have the black sheet, I'm simply going to use that same size on this black sheet. Do it on the black sheet. But the point of today's exercise is that we are going to do an entire menu illustration without color. And that's interesting, right? Because we often think that a menu has to be colorful, especially a pizza menu. Oh my goodness. A pizza is like a burst of color that is very colorful. But given that we are going with this chalkboard approach, no color. And we still have to make it look good. Okay. Now we plan the lines. So we have menu. For the menu on many chalkboard illustrations, we end up putting a very ornate menu. Okay. An ornate menu. And for this ornate menu, the best thing to do would be to put a banner. Have you all worked on banners? Have you all made banners before? The concept of drawing a banner is very, very simple. I'll show you some examples, but you will get the drift of it immediately. It is not at all difficult. Okay. You can have banners that are shaped like this, curvy, going from down to up. You can have banners doing the opposite, which is basically like this, right? Up to down. You can have a banner that is absolutely flat. Okay. And has the rest of the banner like the ends of its ribbon going up, going down, whichever way you like to see it. So if whatever style you decide to adopt, the key thing to keep in mind is that the top and the bottom line must be parallel to each other, whatever shape you take. So if you decide that this line is going to be curved this way, make sure that the bottom also is curved the same way. If it's going from top to down, top to down. So it has to be parallel and it has to accommodate the size of lettering you have in mind. Okay. So for the last class, what we did is we said Susan's menu or Malika's menu. We write different people's names. Now, with my name, it's just 5 letters. I did not need a banner so wide. I could make it thinner. Right? But with a name as big as Malika, we actually made the banner wide enough to write Mallika. So this planning has to be done before you make your banner. Because after making the banner, you must not have to scrunch up your word in that little confined space. No. So if we decide that we are going to write today's menu, we probably won't put our names. We'll put it as a pizza menu, just pizza menu. So the word pizza is not very big.
So a banner does not have to be very, very wide. It only needs to accommodate P, I, Z, Z, A. Okay. So if that's the case, now once you draw the main shape, you close off the shape at both ends. Okay. So I'm showing you all examples at the same time, so you can understand what I mean by close off the main shape. Here you go. The main shape is closed off. Once you've closed off this, now the ends of these ribbon-like banners have to be thought of. You can have these ends dangling up on top, or you can have them under. That is all up to you. Okay. But whichever way you look at it, plan it and make it parallel again to these lines. So here in this case, I want one part of the ribbon to go on top here and the other part of the ribbon to be down here. So what would I do? I will start from a relative distance away from the edge, put a vertical line, small vertical line, and then draw a line parallel to this line. See, parallel. It was going to go this way and up anyway. Same thickness has to be maintained here, which means this line is going to be somewhere here, same thickness as your, and you put a V at the end of it. Let's do the same thing on this side. Put a vertical line, not very close to the end, little away from the end. Same like this. Okay. Put a vertical line and then a parallel curve. Remember that this curve's other side has to be as thick as this ribbon. It's all one ribbon. So we have to keep it only at this height, roughly. And again, a parallel line and a V. See? So we have the end going up, the end going down here. Let's do a similar exercise here, but I want to do the opposite. I want the end to come down here. See? Like this. And then put the V. For this one, you will notice, for the vertical one, I want both the ends to be up. This is also an option. So I have done parallel lines out here, vertical line, and the V's. A choice, how you'd like to proceed. The last part about a banner that makes it really genuine is the connection between the top ribbon and the bottom part. Okay. We have right now made it in such a way that there is no connection. It's just the top sitting on top of the bottom two pieces, like three separate pieces. How do we join these? Like this. See? We join with a single line this way, and that makes the entire piece flow. Similarly over here, go slow with ribbon drawing, because sometimes our mind tends to go a little too fast and draw the line anywhere we want. It's not anyhow. It's very, very logical. Okay. So a whole lot of banners that can be made, any style you like in this format. The part of the banner that is curved inward, to accentuate the curve, let's put lines like these vertical lines. It's to show shade. Okay. Why shade? Because this is the rear part of the ribbon. And we want to show that it has bent and then turned. So everywhere that you see the rear of the ribbon, just put in a few lines, vertical parallel lines like this. And they must match on both sides to get the same effect. On a chalkboard menu, this is very, very important. It makes all the difference. Okay. So shall we try this on our chalkboard here? Let's try a banner. And I would recommend, since we are all, we have been doing a lot of art for a while now, let's be bold enough to try directly. Let's take this jelly roll. I will also recommend keeping a rough paper around, because this jelly roll pen, like we've explained so far, see, there you go. Mine is in a good condition right now. Keep this handy, because you never know when it is going to act up. If you are not confident, don't worry, take a pencil, draw in with a pencil. Remember, on a black paper, pencil does show. Okay. I want to show you how pencil shows. See? Pencil shows. So if you feel you want to do it pencil and then do it in white, go ahead and do it. But no harm. This is a chalkboard. You can do it directly. So let's try pizza. So we want to center align whatever it is that we want to do. Let me do, yeah, center align it. I don't want to keep this very straight. I want it a little wider. So what I do is I make this part a little wider on top, such that I have this curve. Okay. And this means that my bottom line is not going to go upward. It is just going to curve like this. Keep the thickness, maintain the thickness. Now, which lettering did you like for the menu? Would you like to keep this in block letters? Pizza in block letters and then menu in faux calligraphy? Or would you prefer having pizza in block letters and menu in just the normal, this, capitals? Because I was just thinking, where shall we put menu? Menu has to fit somewhere here, right? If menu has to fit somewhere here, it can't be very big. The word menu can't be very big, but pizza can be big, fit here. So let's try. Okay, I'm going to try just the caps because I'm just a little bit more comfortable with the. I would recommend you try Aditi's book. Aditi has a book with a whole lot of hand lettering options. There are so many lovely ideas in that. So alignment here, the Z and A has been a little compromised, but it's a chalkboard. So you are fine, don't worry. I'm going to put in this corner here and this corner here and put in my vertical lines. Now take a pencil and draw in the 5 lines that we want to have in between. That is, where's my ruler? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to just measure out the 5 lines. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 items that we want here. From the bottom, I'm just measuring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this should be enough. About an inch apart. 3, 5, 6. I could do this. So when I put 6 lines, I notice that I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Instead of having the menu so low, how about we start 1 inch higher? So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it fits nicely in the center of your page. This assessment you will have to do depending on the number of items you have. So I find that this is a good placement. Let me turn it around and put another dot. Vertical lines. I will also do one more thing. I will mark the center. Center of this page is about here. All in pencil. Black paper and pencil is, you can erase it later. But if you didn't erase it, it would sit there quietly without disturbing your alignment and other things. Or just standing out generally. Won't stand out much. I'm not sure if you can see my black paper, but let me just show it to you after I draw the lines. Whether you can see my 5 lines. Okay. Can you see my 5 lines? One, two, three, 4, 5, and a center. So the first one is Neapolitan, Farmhouse, Margarita, Hawaiian, Napoli. Let's write the words down first. And because this is chalkboard, we only need the first line to be straight. The second line that we write in running hand will automatically place itself nicely under the thing. So first word is Neapolitan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not going to write pizza to everything because it's obvious it's pizza. Okay. You have the choice to write Neapolitan pizza, farmhouse pizza, margarita pizza but I'm just thinking the pizza is irrelevant now. The menu is pizza, right? So let's start with Neapolitan. Oh, got a bad cold. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So Neapolitan. I'm just placing my O and L on either side of the center line. You see why I'm doing it? Because I want to make sure the word sits exactly in the center. Now write backwards and forwards, but please do it carefully because when we write our words this way, we tend to make mistakes in spellings. Not bad. Next one is, okay, so yeah, let's write all the farmhouse. So H is in the center here on the line. Sorry, while we are doing this, is Anju here? Anju's from Tuesday batch, Anju? Because I know another Anju was also supposed to join today.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. This is, you had connected with me today?
Yeah, I think 2 days back.
Yeah. Okay. You're able to follow? Sorry, I didn't check on
Yeah.
whether you had joined in or not.
No, I'm.
I had a lot of technical trouble in the beginning. So are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I don't have a black paper, so I'm just doing it on white.
On a white one, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Mhm.
No problem.
Thank
So
you.
we have farmhouse. Yeah. Welcome. Now Margarita, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 letters, which means H and E fall on either side of the center line. Hawaiian. It's double I, right? HAWAIIAN.
Yes.
Now here for Hawaiian, just keep one thing in mind. I is not going to take as much space as two alphabets, let's say an A or two H's. So we should consider putting the A of the HAWA on the center line. Okay, just keep that adjustment in mind. Otherwise, what's going to happen is your word is going to be a little bit pushed onto the left side. So consider putting the second A of Hawaiian on the center line. And the last is Napoli, Napoli. So P also can touch the middle line, but on the left side. So okay, so our 5 items are in. We can add in our running text. Now this part, running handwriting. You want to practice it, take a sheet of paper and just write it out once. Because sometimes when we are expected to write capital letters and do a neat job with all of these things, we do it quite well. Then when we come to running hand, we go and mess it up, right? Simple running hand. So just take a sheet of paper and write out with cheese and tomato. In normal running hand, go slow. With cheese and can be this and if you want. Tomato. Just go slow so that the evenness of your letters is easier to achieve. When we go fast, we have a tendency to get, there you go. See, even enough. Practice it once before doing it on your actual sheet. So we want to, now this is another good exercise to do when you want to get placement right. Why? What do I mean by that? See, place your black paper now, or place this. You can do this on a sheet of paper, plain paper, like just lying around, scrap paper, literally, and place it under your current sheet and see how you can center it. Okay, so I'm going to do this exercise on this black paper. See how I'm centering it? I'm just moving my paper around so that I get the rough center of Neapolitan. Rough center, which means I should start with cheese and tomato here. See? So that I end over here. These are rough calculations, very, very rough. A millimeter here, 2 millimeters here and there is not going to make a world of a difference. But having written it once, you will now also try to maintain the same width. You will try because you have it written here in front of you. Okay, so I'm going to keep it here and write with cheese and yeah. My second one is with basil. Now it's quite big. With basil, tomato sauce, and mozzarella. Okay. Now we have to maintain the same size. We can't shorten or make our letters too small because we want it to fit. If it goes into 2 lines, it goes into 2 lines, not to worry. With basil, tomato, and oh, sorry. Not farmhouse. We are on farmhouse. My mistake. Farmhouse is with jalapeno and olives. Sorry, my mistake. Don't we have some funny not cedilla, what are those little embellishments on letters? Accents or marks? Do you know Elaine? I can't hear Elaine. I think Elaine, you're on mute. Okay. If there is any accent here, and I have a feeling on the N, there must be, let me just check. These are little quirky things that could make your menu look really authentic. Like, jalapeno. Let's see. I'm sure Google.
Yes, over the end.
Yes.
There's
Oh,
tilde, I think.
another mistake. Yes. And by the way, it's jalapeno. It's not L-A.
Jalapeno.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I checked it. Yeah, Jalapen with that little curvy thing on top. O and olives. There you go. Good thing I checked. So how do we fit this? This has got to be just a bit smaller than this. Jalapeno and olives. Okay. Okay. Next is with basil, tomato sauce, and mozzarella. Basil, tomato sauce, and mozzarella. With basil, tomato sauce, and mozzarella. I'm trying to see whether we can fit the whole thing in. We may need the whole line. Hawaiian with pineapple and tomato sauce. With pineapple and tomato sauce. You'll notice I'm starting to stop writing or stopping any more planning and trying to get my bearing without writing. If you're uncomfortable with, please go ahead and write. Don't skip this step. Tomato sauce. And Napoli with sun-dried tomatoes and pepper. Sun-dried tomatoes and tomatoes and pepper. Tomato and peppers. Okay. Sun-dried tomato and pepper. Now the last one, we have the liberty of actually making it 2 lines if we want, because there's nothing after it. Okay, we were trying to maintain the spacing, and that's why I did not separate these two into 2 lines. But we don't have to do that with this. Anyway, we'll try and fit it here with sun-dried tomato. With sun-dried tomato and pepper. Or maybe I'll make it 2 lines. You know why? Because it allows me a little more flexibility to draw something here. It leaves my base a little more open. So let me try it this way. Okay. Now the fun part. Now that we've got all this information down, we get on to drawing all the fun ingredients. So for this, I'm going to open up our messages today where I've given you a few examples of pizzas. The reason I gave you these pictures is not because the pizzas are much different from each other or because you want to notice too many differences in the pizza itself. It's because there are some elements around them, right? And those things are what we are also going to capture out here. Not just the pizza. Pizza, of course, nothing like it. We are definitely going to capture some amount of pizza where we can. But what we also want to capture are the tomatoes, maybe some of the leaves, the oil that we see over here, right? And I like this pepper bottle here, right? Seasoning. Then on the next picture, I have some, oh yes, this rolling pin. It's a lovely addition to have on your menu. Similarly, over here, I like the mushrooms. Mushrooms are definitely something we want to put on the chalkboard. Onion rings, some cubes. Cubes are great too. Okay. So all of the ingredients here don't have to necessarily match the stuff that we have written. It gives you the idea of a pizza, and that's all we want to convey in the chalkboard. Okay. So let's start with the corner of a pizza over here, because that seems like the most obvious thing to do. Let's start with a corner of the pizza here, for which we will draw a quarter of a circle. Okay. The next step is to draw in a wavy line. Okay. This is to show the sauce. A very wavy line. We next have to show the division of the pizza. So let's assume our pizza has been divided at this point. And is divided up to this. This picture here shows you leaves, a few tomatoes. So let's consider putting some shapes on the pizza that indicate rectangular pieces, indicate leaf, and some curvy pieces to indicate maybe tomatoes or capsicum, bell pepper. So let's start with one element. One element we could add is the leaf. Put a little bit of a leaf sticking out from here. Put a leaf over here. Yeah. Then let's place some rectangular pieces. Space them out a bit here and there. Then let's add some curvy pieces. So and that's it. We could have like olives, small little curves like this. Small. And that's it. Leave it. The idea of a pizza has formed. What is the next element we want to take? I'm going to look at. Consider putting the big elements first. Okay? Because we have limited space on our sheet. We have some space here. We can put something, definitely something nice over here. Maybe a slice. A slice of a pizza is also a very good idea to have. Okay? Now here I don't have a slice of a pizza. Let me just look for one.
Susan, what about that little wooden thing with mushrooms? That mushroom shape is very sweet.
It is very sweet. So this is a great element to have. The mushroom is definitely a great element to have, but it's a small element. So what we can do with mushrooms is we can use them as fillers.
Okay, done.
They're
done.
excellent for fillers. So when they're
Done.
small mushrooms like this, we can
Yeah.
definitely use them as fillers. So again, what we are trying to do from this exercise of looking at all the images that we have is that we are trying to place the big elements and the small elements, medium and small, not just big and medium. It's just big and small. Big and small is most important. Now, for example, this big thing or this bottle here. If I want to fit the bottle, these two places are definitely good for the bottle, right? So the size of these objects are so important because after you place those big things, then all these lovely little things can fit themselves around in the place that we have. Okay, so let's not start putting mushrooms over here at the corner because once we put them in, then we don't have the place for the big items. Okay, so the next big item I want to definitely put is this bottle. I definitely want this bottle at the side somewhere. And I want this. So let's take both these elements. Okay. The elements here are one pepper, what looks like a pepper stand, pepper mill, and just look at the shape of the object and you'll be able to just draw it out. Hold on. Let me just display. Yeah, okay. So if I'm looking at my display, you can see my image, right? And the reference I'm looking at. I have a bit of a curve over here. Going off out of the picture itself. Excuse me. Here I have so that's a pepper mill. And behind it, I have a bottle. So the bottle is going to be straight, followed by a curve. Now to maintain that on both sides. And that's it. It's a good thing the bottle is behind because we don't have to worry about getting the proportion entirely correct on the other side. But I will add an addition here. I'll put a cork. I don't see a cork in the picture, and I'm putting a cork here. Yeah. The good thing about a bottle is it has a certain thickness. So let's put that little white line to show thickness, to show the bottom, and finally to show the liquid. From time to time, just a little line like this will show that the bottle has a slight thickness. See? Two big shapes in. Another shape that I was talking about was the rolling pin. I definitely want to have a rolling pin where I can fit it. We can put that rolling pin on this side, sticking out from here. We can also choose to put that rolling pin here. So this is also an option. Mind you, rolling pin is not the only tool we need to add. We could add another tool like the circular cutter. Have you all seen the circular pizza cutter? The circular pizza cutter is another lovely tool to definitely consider including in this menu. So for now, let me put it here because I'd like to put the circular cutter also here next to it. I'll look for a reference image and then I'll do that. And then I'll put a slice of pizza over here at the side. Okay, so these are the three big things I want to fit over here. So let's try the rolling pin. The rolling pin comes out from here. Draw the parallel bit first so that you don't have to worry about getting this part in or not. Then you have this inner shape. And then you have this. So this rolling pin doesn't have too much of a curve, but it does have a slight curve, that handle. You can show that. Huh? You can exaggerate if you like. I'm going to exaggerate a bit. Okay. And draw a little bit of a line here. The rolling pin. Let me look for an image. Now this part, if you can look, I mean, by the time I download something, it's going to probably
I sent you an image on the group. Just
Oh,
check
did
it.
you? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let me. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Very good. So we have a rolling pin. We have we have the circle cut. There you go. See what we're trying to get? Now, this is, of course, this is already an illustration. So, I mean, it's great to follow the illustration that we already have. But in case you do not get an illustration, that is what you should always aim for. You're looking at a real object. If you look at a real object, how do you convert it into a very simple form on your blackboard? You don't have all this extra detail. Here it's simplified for you, so you're simply copying it out. But I'm saying, suppose we have the pizza cutter in its steel form. Okay, so I'm going to just say pizza cutter. There you go. Images. And have a look at the different types of pizza cutters we have. See, it's the same thing. It's exactly what Janita showed us. See, the shape is exactly as it is. But we have to simplify it for ourselves, looking at an actual thing, at an actual, what do you call it? A real thing, not something that's already illustrated for us. So let's take the center. Let's take this curve. It goes down. Now, while this curve goes down, before I attach it to the body, let's do the bigger circle, because now we want the circle to look uniform, okay? And we want the radius is there. There you go. Put the circle in. Then extend your stem out. Then you can do exactly what you see. Simplify it. Make it thicker here. Give it a little shape. And out of the picture. See? Then we can have that slice of pizza that we wanted to pizza slice. Because we are trying to fit the slice from this side, let's look for a slice that is coming in from the right. We are leaving less to imagination then. Ah, there. Look at this. Okay. This pizza is going to come in from the edge. And it's going to turn. Now we have all this oozing cheese. Under it is the crust. And the pizza disappears. On this, we are going to definitely show the circles we are seeing because there are some circles. Okay. We also have these kind of circular spaces to show some pieces of curvy stuff. And that's it. Your pizza looks quite complete. Now, what else would we like to include? Anything else we see in pizzas? I'll look at Janita's image because Janita's image is a lot of
That wooden
elements.
thing, they lift the pizza with, that's really for the wood
Is it
burning
this?
pizzas. No, not the rolling pin, the one they lift the
Oh.
pizza with and put in the fire.
Oh, what is it? Oh, yeah, the flat. You mean the flat thing? A
Flat wooden thing that's
Yeah,
The
for the wood
serving
burning
board.
ones.
correct. We can do that. So let me just see. What is it called? Are you talking about this kind of a thing? But that's the plate, no? It is
It's
that
there
was
in the
the
image. If you see, it's a long wooden thing which they put the pizza in the
okay.
wood
Yes, I have. Okay, I'm back. Recording is started. Okay, am I still audible?
Yes.
Okay, great. So pizza veggies are going to be added. I'm just looking for some. They're showing only cut veggies. I'm going to look for capsicum. There you go. So let's add a capsicum over here. Shall we put one? The shape of a capsicum is little quirky, but that shape is very important to, if possible, get right because the shape conveys what we're trying to indicate. So if you can pay attention to the shape of a capsicum, see? Similarly, there is one capsicum that I have here, which is on the other side. Comes inward. There's another slice here. It's full of these lovely curves. All right, capsicum is in. Let's put the tomatoes. Tomatoes will go here, or maybe here, maybe here. Yeah. Yeah, here maybe. So what we want to first capture are these radiating bits of the tomato. Very, very important. Thereafter, the tomato is a little more wide than it is round. Little wider than it is round. So let's take one here as well. A curvy tomato sitting on its side. Okay. And maybe a few pieces of tomato. Now this is something, yeah, tomato piece is on the pizza itself. You'll see a slice of tomato here. And add some little thickness to the slice so you can see it as a slice. And then there is this tomato has a some seeds and a piece like this. See? Let me just zoom in a bit. Tomatoes are done. How about some leaves? We have some leaves here. Shaky. I think basil leaves. Slightly curvy. So let it be. You can put those leaves even at another point, depending on where you want it. Let's go on to the ones that we like more. For example, like Elaine said, the mushrooms. Mushrooms are really pretty. So let's add the mushrooms here. Okay. They are curvy. They curve in this way. And this. One more thing to put on the mushroom is a curvy line on top. We can do another shape like this. Let's do this. And draw the curve on top. With some mushrooms, which are on their side, let's add a little thickness to one side. Okay, I want to show you that. So for this mushroom, let's say a slight curve on top to indicate that there is some depth to that mushroom. Similarly, let's do another one here. Yeah. We can put those same mushrooms even over here on top. Mushrooms there. Want to put some here? You can put some here too. Onions. We could draw an entire onion at the side with the lovely shape of an onion, the end sticking out, and a few lines to indicate that this is an onion. Similarly, the rings near an onion are a good idea. What else? Are we missing? Oh yeah, I said cubes, like cheese, not cheese. This would probably be cottage cheese. Small cubes.
Pineapple, a little bit of pineapple.
Yes, we can. So pineapple pieces have to look. Let's Google pineapple.
I did a pineapple.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, hold on. Oh. Oh, yeah. Very nice, Janita. Now I'm thinking, where do we put our pineapple? Because our pineapple is going to become a little. Okay. Shall we add it somewhere here?
Actually, those cubes that you were doing, something like that in a triangle with little lines, I think that should do it.
Sorry?
You know, like the cubes you did, you get these
Yeah.
triangle wedges of pineapple like you get
Yes,
watermelon.
yes,
you know,
yes,
but
yes,
I think
yes, yes.
if there's no place, I think we should just leave it out. It will make it all very messy.
Oh, it'll fit this way. But pineapples have these kind of lines on them. So just
Yes.
try to bring that texture. Those textures are important because otherwise it would look like something else. It's easy to.
Exactly.
Okay, so those are the key things when you are illustrating anything for that matter. What makes it uniquely a tomato or what makes it uniquely a pineapple? That if you add in, and that's all you need, nothing else. I think our page is looking more or less filled. I'll just go back to Janita's picture and see if there's anything else we could add from that list. So we've got the oil, we've got the tomatoes, and jalapeno.
I put
Jalapeno is
jalapenos
there
and
somewhere?
olives. I put
Where are your olives? Olives are there in the picture. Olive oil is
the
there.
green
Are there?
olives. Are
There's
there.
olives. Yes. So green olives can look ovalish with a stick. Another one coming out oval. The bottom dot may be nice to add in some places at least. Yeah, nice, you're right. The olives look good. And don't we have olives cut also? A few cut olives like this? Cut pieces also look nice next to the whole. Olives, and what was the other thing that we saw? Basil is done.
Jalapenos.
Garlic. Yeah. So we can put a few. Jalapenos, are they there in this picture? Hot pepper. Okay. So we have hot pepper. Let's put that little bit over here. A chili has to be crooked. Have one turning in over here. Put a little cone to it. And that's your chili. Similarly, we can have garlic, like few. See? Pieces of garlic here. Add them over here as well. That's it. It's looking quite filled up. So if you want to stop at this point, it's actually perfectly fine because it's not going to take away from the menu. Our menu is already looking quite pretty. Okay. One point I would like to make is you can run a border on a chalkboard. That is another very, very interesting concept. You can have a vertical line running through the entire border. Okay. And that also will define the space very well. So consider doing that if you feel you want a border. Here now what's happening is because so many little elements are along the border, we may not need to add that border. So we can leave it as it is. It's fine. But should you have not so many elements, just a plain border with a banner will make for an excellent chalkboard on its own. Yeah. Anyone did it on a black sheet like this with me?
I did it. on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Janita's is of course. Yeah. Let me just see Janita. Hold on. Let me.
I was thinking even if you can stick it on the white,
How do we?
it'll give it a very good get up. Since we
I
don't have
know,
space.
you're right. Yeah. But it has a nice effect, no?
Yeah,
The white on black.
stands out.
Yeah, it stands out really well, really well. That's fancy, very lovely. Super, Janita. What about you, Elaine? Elaine, yours is on white?
Mine is on
White.
white. I just did it in half of the thingy. I'm sorry I got this quite bad, but the rest of it is
No.
fine.
What do you mean by half?
Meaning I did half the page of my art book,
Yeah,
no? I just
yeah,
folded
correct.
that.
That is the size. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
the size. That is the size.
I'm sorry I got my rolling pin very massive and bad, but
Oh,
the rest of
don't
it
worry.
was
Don't
like.
worry. Don't worry.
By the way,
Don't
this
worry.
thing
Huh.
here, it's called a
Yeah.
peel. It's not a
Peel?
pizza peel. P-E-E-L. You know that stuff that you put
Okay.
into an
Peel, huh?
oven? Any
Right,
bakery
right.
stuff that you put into an oven to bake,
Okay.
it's called a peel.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Peel, huh? Yeah, we learned something new.
Big fat wooden shovels. Yeah, that in Goa they put those pav into the oven.
Into the
I keep
oven,
watching
yes.
that. So
Correct,
the
correct.
what do they call? Poi.
Oh,
So
yes.
that's I always wanted that peel for that wood burning. So then they said it's called a peel.
I see. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have known. All right. So this is our chalkboard menu. I will show you the menu. Like